your accessories and focus here, concentrate, isn't it? So the topic is somewhat difficult. Concentrate. You take time to understand. Listen here. S, chin up, focus. The first diagram is conventional network architecture. The current network, what they are using, like in the olden days, what kind of network they are using. This is the diagram. I will tell you what technically. And here, this is the SDN architecture. They have divided into some lines, the vertical line and dotted vertical line you can see. Specialized packet forwarding hardware, network operating system, network application, network devices you can see. The same has been, you can see here, listen here, concentrate here, don't look into under your bench. I am explaining it. These are SDN layers, you know, infrastructure layer, application layer, transport layer, control layer, application layer. This completely is the SDN architecture. Whatever they are drawn here, the same thing it is. Infrastructure layer, control layer, application layer. You know, transport layer, network layer, application layer. Say some. What it is? This is nothing but network device, devices. This is nothing but SDN controller, a single controller. It may be a microprocessor, it may be a Raspberry Pi, it may be Arduino, anything, you understand anything. And at the last, I will achieve an application. I will achieve what? I will achieve an what? An focus here, this conventional network architecture, what to mean by this means, there all the components are network, controllers and all the application layers are coupled. Means they are available. In the diagram you can see, in the square diagram they are available. There is no division. In general, let me tell you, all the devices, layers, all the applications, they are coupled. They are available in a rectangular box. Understandable? So generally I am telling they are available in a network, in a single rectangular box. So what is the software defined networking? It divides data plane and control plane. Focus here. The diagram you can see. Listen here. This is nothing but the square rectangular box, data plane. This is completely individually a control plane. And this is your application plane. They are divided, they are segregated. SDN architecture divides or it separates control plane and data plane and also application layer, API. They are individually available. They are physically individually available. But what about conventional architecture? Tell me, what about conventional architecture? There is no data plane and there is no control plane. All the devices, all the application, all the operating system, all the layers, they coupled with each other. Understandable? Simple thing. Here in the diagram, in the square diagram, I have everything. They are coupled. But there the SDN provides control plane, data plane. Data plane is the devices which capture the information. Control plane is it routes the information. It is controlling everything. What you will control, you will achieve an application. All are individual. They are not coupled with each other. Understandable? Second, that is nothing but software defined networking. Now let me tell you why we are moving from this to there. Concentrate here. So these devices, they need a protocol. Focus here. If for your conventional network, for example, I have 1 lakh devices. How many? 1 lakh devices. Each device needs some protocols. It increases the protocols. It increases the standard. Understandable? Communication protocol increases. Because of that, it creates the issue. There will be a traffic in this kind of application. Traffic means not a general traffic. This messages, this is nothing but they are transferring the messages. There is a traffic in the data because so many network devices are coupled in a single box or coupled there, and you need a many protocols. What are the communication protocols? HTTP, ZigBee, AMQP, anything. You need more protocols Because of that, it increases the complexity. It increases, there is a traffic congestion. Understandable? Say sir. Right? The device which you are using, the network application or network devices, they have span, a limited span. Their life cycle is limited. Understandable? You will use the remote cell in your TV remote. For 3 months you will use. After that you will hit the remote and you will send a channel. Say sir, there is a battery life. Like that, they have some limited scope of life. Because of that, you can't achieve an application very properly. You want to go for automatic purpose. You want to invent something. Understandable? Inventing. That can't be done by traditional or this conventional network architecture. If you want to invent something, that cannot be done by this because of limitation. And one more disadvantage, let us concentrate here. One more disadvantage is, I will write a technical term, interoperability. You can't achieve interoperability. Concentrate here. Interoperations. For example, in your network, I have a Lenovo laptop. Which laptop? Now I want to use a mobile. You can't use a Apple mobile in that application. You have to use a Lenovo mobile only. You have to use a Lenovo projector only. That is nothing but a disadvantage. Interoperability means you can use any kind of product from any kind of manufacturer. That is nothing but achieving interoperability. Interoperations. In your network, you can have any devices from any manufacturer. But here in conventional network, if you have an Apple mobile, you should have an Apple devices only. Understandable? Say so. Here you can't achieve interoperability. There are some disadvantages. That's why we are moving from, this is the old network, we are moving to software defined network where data plane, this is data plane, this is control plane diagram, this is application plane. They are segregated, they are separated in order to achieve an application. Understandable? Say so? Yeah. Because of this, you can achieve a scalability. You can achieve a scalability. You can invent anything. The disadvantage will go overcome with these disadvantages if you use software-defined networking. So your network devices will capture the data. Your controller will route the messages. It sends the messages, and application will be run by who? Your open API. It supports API, application programming interface. But here it can't be done. You can't achieve open API integration. API means what? It's a set of tools. I already explained you. Set of collection to communicate the devices. Understandable? Application programming interface will be provided by here. But here you cannot achieve an open API. That's why here I wrote control and data plane. And in between that, you have an open API. Here you don't have any API. Here there is a network traffic, and here you don't achieve interoperability, and the span of your devices is less. And if it is more also, you can't achieve innovation. You can't achieve what? Innovation. You can't go for a new innovation. But as the control plane, data plane, application layer are segregated, and data is capturing, control is controlling, sending the routing messages, IP routing can be done here, application programming interface can be done here, so that you can achieve an innovation by using software defined networking. That is the logic. Understandable? In the textbook you can't get that. In the textbook you get a whole so much of explanation. I have segregated it and I have tried to explain the logic in a simpler way. Clear? Better? Conventional means the old network. That has some disadvantages. You can't achieve interoperability. There is no limited scope. There is no open API integration. And the device's life cycle is, if it is more or less also, you can't achieve an innovation. and all the devices, all the control, all the data plane are available in a single block, single square block. But here control plane and data plane are divided, so that you can achieve a new innovation with this SDN. Clear? So what is the definition of software defined networking? It separates control plane and data plane, and at the center what I have? At the center what I have? SDN controller. It centralizes the controller. At the center what I have? SDN controller. It centralizes the controller to achieve an application, and it uses open API integration. Clear? Say sir? Yes, sir. Okay. So this is about software defined networking. You have any query?